Aibon, Vanakkam, Assalamu alaikum, good evening. First, let me explain as to why Sarvajana Balaya is contesting this presidential election, me as the candidate. If you look at post-independent Sri Lanka, last 76 years, the politically what we have gone through is very clearly that if every political party has taken the stance that the country was going to run on a very ad hoc basis, which means that country never had a strategic plan. So, we are believers of a strategic plan, and as a result we this time contest not based on a individual's ideology, but an ideology based on a very thought after program, which is a strategic plan. Now, our ultimate objective or the vision of Sarvajana Balaya is to achieve a happy nation, and whatever we say that Sri Lanka historically has our civilizational values attached to the culture, and as a result we firmly believe as a nation that we are here to be happier than the rest of the nations in the world, and it has been so in the past. So, we believe to achieve this happy nation concept that we should have a strategic path towards that vision. Now, if you look at most of the other candidates and their what do you call the manifestos, they talk about policies. So, Sri Lanka has over the years seen every presidential candidate has come and spoken about their policies. What are these policies? Policies are like actually a document of dreams, and they are not interconnected, and they do not drive towards a vision that finally every Sri Lankan will share. So, our dream is very clear that we want Sri Lankans to share this dream of achieving the status of a happy nation. Now, towards achieving this happy nation, we believe that we have to celebrate our civilization and civilizational values. While celebrating the civilizational values, we believe our biggest asset of the country is the human capital of Sri Lanka. So, human capital of Sri Lanka is something that we concentrate with which that we think we can take the country forward. No country has gone forward without motivating the people of that nation. So, we believe that we can motivate of Sri Lankans based on these values and the expectations of the people of Sri Lanka. Now, while motivating these people, what are we trying to do? So, we want to achieve the status of a entrepreneurial state. Now, what is an entrepreneurial state? It is a very interesting thing that everybody should know, that entrepreneurial state means that state's mindset should be entrepreneurially driven. So, what it means is that state would think like another ordinary entrepreneurship, but it applies to the whole of a nation. Now, this nation will be creative, and that nation will know how to control their thinking based on risk taking management. Now, the risk taking management and as a talent, though we see it in the private sector or the private sector businesses, it has never got applied to the state. So, when you apply the creativity and the risk taking management or the risk management exercise put together, the state will become a very dynamic organization. So, this dynamic organization of a entrepreneurial mind will drive the nation not on ad hoc basis as we have done in the past, but we will be working towards achieving our happy nation status, and Sri Lanka will be geared and with extra energy to move forward. Now, if you look at again, if we compare the other options given by the rest of the candidates, it is important that you notice that this is completely different to what these people of the other candidates talk about. Their policies just touch upon issues without philosophy, without logic or without science, and everything that we have mentioned in our strategic plan document, which is in all 3 languages on sarvajanabalaya.com, you can download. It clearly connects one to another, and if we have proposed anything, that it's all connected, and strategically it connects on one line or one theme. Now, strategic plan concentrates not only what, the strategic plan concentrates on what and how, when, and if not. So, in our plan, it is very clearly that we give out the solutions and how to exploit the opportunities that Sri Lanka can take its own advantages. See, in that situation, we see it is being driven one point to another to achieve all these dreams, while on one hand motivating the human capital, that the motivated human capital will be used to exploit the material resources of this country to get its to unearth the best potential of our so called assets. Now, what we have today, the physical resources are actually liabilities unless they are turned to assets. For these liabilities are to be turned to assets, what you need is the human capital, and human capital, not just human capital, but motivated human capital. So, now in our strategic plan, we drive point by point to make sure that Sri Lankan will get the benefits of this strategic plan. Simply speaking, if you look at all the problems that we face today are addressed one by one, if taking into consideration that Sri Lanka does not have a system as in, if you look at all the developed countries in the world, they run on something called smart government platform. Now, Sri Lanka does not have one. So, the next point in our strategic plan is how do we implement this? To implement that, we need to have a smart government platform. For that, we have proposed to introduce a unique ID system, which means that every individual from birth will have a unique identification number, just like the rest of the developed countries. So, when this number is issued, everything of a Sri Lankan citizen, every day to day activity, every transaction, every certificate that they have to get from the government, or may it be the driving license or the passport or whatever you want, all those services will be connected to one platform, and your income and expenditure will all get captured into the system, and thereby this will become a smart platform where everybody will be treated equal. Now, Sri Lankans then will get reap the benefits of this system in many different ways. One thing, it will ease out the difficulties in dealing with the government. It will be very convenient for every Sri Lankan to get every service from the government. On the other hand, and there is a major disparity between the people who take a larger chunk of the resources of this country, and a large percentage of the people are getting a very small portion of the resources of the nation. So, now by introducing this system, everybody will be getting equal access to the resources, unless you are working harder, or you have special skills, or you are more creative than the other person, then you can very easily get the benefit of your special skills. That is a different thing. But today what happens is, you are being treated differently because of your class or your birth or your wealth. So, that should be stopped. So, this system will stop all that, and we will immediately put on the first step of us being a first world country from a third world country. So, our dream is to start our journey taking Sri Lanka to the first world, from first step to the second step to the third step, like that. So, with this introduction of the digital ID, after that all the services, when those things are get connected, Sri Lanka will have a much better revenue, because our tax collection will be much more efficient and effective, and as a result it will all be controlled very carefully, because it is running on a system. So, now to connect to this our strategic plan and to get the best out of this exercise, we propose a national strategic planning agency. As you know, Sri Lanka has got into this situation because time to time different governments come, and then after that different ministers come within a government. For each ministry sometimes you get couple of ministers and their views are different, the way they look at things are different, and their habits are different. So, to avoid all that, we are proposing this concept of a National Strategic Planning Authority. National Strategic Planning Authority will take all the proposals from each and every ministry and will be discussed at one table. As a result, it will be driven only on the productivity of the proposal, and it will be constructively evaluated and the decision will be taken. So, it is important for our motherland, our country, that if we are to take this country forward, that we have to have a system, and to end the corruption, which you probably will not even believe to which extent this corruption has gone into the system of Sri Lanka or the fabric of Sri Lankan society. So, to stop that corruption, this system and the strategic planning methodology and the strategic planning authority and the various proposals that we have given in our strategic plan. English copy is also available on the web www.sarvajanabalaya.com. You can see we have covered each and every area, from education to entertainment, from petroleum to aviation, whatever you want to know how it is going to impact your life as Sri Lankans, it is all been covered in this document, so that you can be taking a well informed decision, not like when you read what you call the archaic manifestos that are being presented before you. It is our belief that you will take the trouble and go through our strategic plan, which is available on the net, or you can search on the net, then you will get as search results also. So, again I want to mention www.sarvajanabalaya.com. Thank you very much for listening to me.